Welcome to The Explainer. You know the sound, right? If you're a parent or have ever babysat, you've heard it. Today, we're going to do something a bit unusual but incredibly revealing. We're taking a standard 30-minute block of those seemingly chaotic toddler nursery rhymes, the kind that plan an endless loop in living rooms everywhere, and we're going to transform it into a fascinating, highly structured educational matrix. Because when you actually look closely at the lyrics, these catchy tunes aren't just background noise. They are literally a rigorous curriculum designed to download fundamental societal concepts straight into young minds.
So let's take a quick look at our syllabus. We can group these repetitive songs into four main subjects: early math and economics, zoology and human anatomy, essential daily life skills, and lastly, the logic of consequences.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Early Math and Economics. Now, before a kid can even tie their shoes, they're getting introduced to foundational datasets and market economies. Take the number 10, for example. This is an astonishingly high number for a toddler, but it pops up everywhere to build numerical stamina. You've got 10 fragile Humpty Dumptys sitting on a wall, or 10 ants marching in perfect formation just to get out of the rain. It sets this really robust baseline for numerical literacy.
And from there, we take the next logical step, which is subtraction. The curriculum leans super heavily on a 5 to 0 countdown model. Think about it. 5 little ducks go over the hill, and then the mother duck quacks and her flock vanishes one by one until 0 come back. We see the exact same negative progression with 5 little monkeys disappearing from a bed, right down to none. Okay, so once the counting and subtraction are locked in, boom, we introduce commerce. These rhymes actually establish a standard currency exchange rate using the penny. You want a spool of thread or a needle in Pop Goes the Weasel? Well, that's the way the money goes. It's going to cost you a penny. And over in the bakery sector, hot crust buns dictates a very strict market price of 1 or 2 a penny. Then the whole thing synthesizes those math and economic lessons into real-world retail scenarios. Like, I went into the shop one day to get an ice cream treat. I said 1 scoop, 2 scoops, 3 scoops for me, please. This is literally a kid entering the market, stating their demand, and scaling their order. It's just practical application at its absolute finest. Moving right along to Section 2, Zoology and Human Anatomy.
So, shifting gears into the biological sciences, it's wild how this curriculum strictly divides animal life into 2 distinct ecological domains. On one hand, you've got agricultural farm animals, cows, pigs, horses, sheep, who all get specific audio markers like moo, oink, and ba. And then on the flip side, domestic pets, dogs, cats, birds, getting the woofs and meows. It's this perfect binary system to help learners instantly categorize the biological world around them.
But wait, the biological training doesn't just stop at simple categorization. It tests spatial reasoning and environmental awareness by putting animals in totally absurd rule-breaking environments. Like in Skip to My Lou, where you have to visualize flies in the buttermilk, rats chewing in a bread box, and cows roaming in a cornfield. It's basically a drill in spotting when biological entities are in the completely wrong habitat. And anatomy? It's not just theoretical. It is highly dynamic. Physical education gets seamlessly woven right into the biology lesson. Kids are instructed to march, jump, and punch, but those kinetic exercises are paired directly with a rigorous anatomical checklist: head, shoulders, knees, toes, eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. It forces the learner to actively map out their own nervous system while, keeping their heart rate up. Next up is Section 3, Essential Daily Life Skills. Now, beyond the pure academics, this matrix delivers some highly specific, totally non-negotiable step-by-step instructions. Toddlers are basically programmed with an uncompromising morning hygiene routine. The song literally spells it out: wash your face, comb your hair, brush your teeth, get dressed, go to school. Absolutely no room for deviation. It's an algorithmic approach to starting the day. And just to ensure maximum compliance, this routine comes with a strict deadline. That recurring temporal mandate early in the morning echoes at the end of every single instructional stanza. It makes sure the audience knows exactly when these hygiene protocols have to be executed. Time management, drilled in from day one. The culinary arts get taught with the exact same precision, though maybe a bit messier. There's this fascinating segment detailing the surprisingly chaotic physical prep required to manufacture a peanut butter and jelly sandwich entirely from scratch. You don't just buy it, no. You have to crack and mash the peanuts, pick and squish the grapes, and then spread it on the bread. It's this vivid hands-on lesson in food supply chains and manual labor.
Which brings us to our final subject, Section 4, the logic of consequences.
This is honestly the most dramatic subject: the harsh moral and physical consequences of disobedience. To see how justice operates in the universe of nursery rhymes, we just have to look at the tragic tale of the three little kittens. It poses a really fundamental legal question for a toddler. What exactly is the penalty for losing essential winter apparel?
Well, the judgment from the mother figure is swift and it is devastating. You naughty kittens, then you shall have no pie. The punitive measure for losing your mittens is an absolute non-negotiable denial of dessert. They get labeled naughty and the pie is entirely revoked. It sets up this strict cause and effect framework that governs their whole world. Good actions yield rewards. Reckless behavior yields danger. When the kittens find their mittens, pie is restored. But interestingly, when they wash the mittens, they inexplicably smell a wolf close by. So even good hygiene can't protect you from unexpected environmental threats. Meanwhile, for those monkeys, the consequence of jumping on the bed is an immediate physical bump to the head. We see this logic of consequence crystal clear in the frantic, recurring medical advice given to those 5 increasingly concussed monkeys. An authority figure, the doctor, has to continually be called just to reiterate the rule: no more monkeys jumping on the bed. It reinforces that repeated dangerous actions will absolutely result in repeated interventions from authorities. So when we step back and really look at all this data, the counting, the economics, the zoology, the hygiene routines, the strict moral consequences, it is abundantly clear. These songs are doing some serious heavy lifting. They're hardwiring fundamental concepts of biology, economics, and law into young, malleable minds, all hiding behind catchy little melodies. As we wrap up this explainer, it kind of forces us to look back at our own early education, right? I'll leave you with this final provocative thought for today. Just how much of your own daily routine, your sense of commerce, or your understanding of right and wrong was secretly programmed by a monkey, a weasel, and a muffin man?